Hello and welcome back to 365 Days with mxmtoon. I'm Maia, a singer, songwriter, video maker, Oakland native, and a world wanderer. I'm also a huge history nerd. I love untold stories, gross facts, and secrets, anything weird, dark, and funky from the past. Each day I'm going to share a few of my very favorite deep cuts with you, so let's take a look at today's stories.
It's 365 with mxmtoon. New facts every day, so don't leave too soon. I'm gonna teach you stuff, no it won't be tough. Gonna go a year till you've had enough. It's 365 mxmtoon.
Today in 1917, the modern form of the Mexican Constitution was ratified. It was signed and authorized by the Mexican government, making it law. Today, the holiday is known as Constitution Day in Mexico. The Mexican Constitution was formed in 1917, but work on it began in 1910. The history of modern Mexico goes back to the beginning of the 1800s, so let's reverse and start from there. Spain had control over Mexico during the 1700s, but their control was loosening as colonists from Spain had high tensions with the people born in Mexico. The two groups struggled for political power and control. When Napoleon occupied Spain in 1808, the country began to lose its grip on Mexico. In 1810, Miguel Hidalgo y Castillo led a rebellion, and rebel leaders joined him to get Mexico independence from Spain. Independence was officially granted in 1821. An original constitution was written, but quickly after, Agustín de Iturbide declared himself emperor, undermining the new constitution. Just a year after that, Antonio López de Santa Anna overthrew Iturbide, and the country was off to a rather rickety start for a tumultuous century. By 1900, the citizens of Mexico were sick of political upheaval, and stirrings of revolution began. The Mexican Revolution began in 1910, which is when work on the new constitution was initiated. The people of Mexico began to feel that their old constitution, which had been established in 1857, was, simply put, a little outdated, and that the revolution was a good time to make a constitution that would serve them better for the coming century. The revolution resulted in the resignation of the current General Diaz, an oppressive ruler, but the transition to a new leader was not a smooth one. Instead, the would-be leaders fought amongst themselves fiercely, and more than one died from assassination. In 1913, Pancho Villa formed a large army who fought together on the side of a new constitution. Pancho Villa and his army eventually beat the rebel forces and helped secure Venustiano Carranza the presidency. Carranza in 1917 signed the papers to ratify the new constitution. The constitution was founded on 7 fundamental ideals: Declaration of Rights, national sovereignty, separation of powers, representative government, federalism, constitutional remedy, and superiority of the state over the church. The constitution is then divided into 9 titles, and each title is divided into chapters. The most important parts of the new constitution were seen to be land reform, distributing land and resources to the poor, but it had many other revolutionary aspects that shouldn't be ignored. The constitution contained equal rights initiatives and labor laws. It was the first constitution in the world to talk about social rights. Some of the things it talks about are similar to provisions in the US Constitution, freedom of speech and freedom of religion, but it does more by guaranteeing Mexicans the right to a good job and health care. It was the first constitutional document to stipulate the right to an education, for the education to be free and required, and for that education to be free from involvement from the church. The Constitution in general is positioned against the Roman Catholic Church, restricting its power. It became a model for the Russian Constitution in 1818 and the Weimar Constitution of 1919. The model that the Constitution provided envisioned Mexico becoming an activist state, where all people were aided by the government and the country was at the forefront of social issues. Although not all the plans laid by it came true, it's still an honorable idea that came to be a model for future nations and offered unheard of protections for citizens. Like the United States, the Constitution of Mexico has had many amendments in the years since its inception. It then received a serious revision in 1992, which adjusted private property rights, privatization of ejidos, which are communal land sites, and many of the original restrictions on the Roman Catholic Church were repealed. When Constitution Day is celebrated, businesses and schools are closed and everyone gets to celebrate together. Music, festivals, and parades happen in the streets. It's a lot like other countries' festivals of independence, though these days it doesn't always take place on February 5th. It takes place on the first Monday of February, so that everyone has a 3-day weekend. 3-day weekends are definitely something we could all agree on. Today we have a super exciting and special musical guest, Alexander 23. He's one of my dear friends and first people that I think I connected with in the music industry. Alexander is a lovely person. He is killing it right now across the board with all of his music and just an all-around stand-up guy. Here he is to talk to you today.
Hey, what's up? It's Alexander23, and on February 5th of 2020, a year ago today, wow, that is crazy, a year ago today, I played my first ever headline show. I write music that's super personal, and so to hear those words sang back to me and to get to feel the space that those words have taken up in other people's individual lives was truly a surreal experience, one that I'm so grateful to have had and one that I so look forward to having again. So yeah, I hope, as I'm sure you hope as well, that we can get back to live shows as soon as possible. And I also hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.
And now for our final segment of the day, I'm going to go into my own photo archives to see what I was up to on a February 5th in my life. February 5th, 2020, I was home and I made Japanese curry. That is all I did that day. I've gotten much better at cooking as I've lived on my own and been forced to do more meal prep for myself. That was the first time that I tried to make a meal and really cook something. It turned out not so great, but it looked really good in photos and nobody else had to taste it except for me and my brother. So, I forced my brother to create a positive aspect around it because he didn't need to cook dinner, so he had to think it was good because I made dinner for him anyways. But yeah, I'm a much better cook now. I chef it up occasionally. I'm slightly better at it. But that was my first attempt a year ago, and a year from then, I've gotten a little bit better at it. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. Go ahead and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can follow at 365 Days mxmtoon on your preferred social media platforms to stay up to date on our episodes.
It's 365 with mxmtoon. New facts every day, so don't leave too soon. I'm gonna teach you stuff, no it won't be tough. Gonna go a year till you've had enough. It's 360